Chapter 2. Hey, kids! Bright sunlight poured into the treehouse. Jack heard swishing sounds and birdsong. We're wearing our same clothes, said Annie. They were both still dressed in t-shirts and jeans. Maybe we're still in the present time, said Jack. They looked out the window together. It's Africa, said Annie. Their treehouse was tucked into an umbrella-like tree. Other trees and spiky-looking bushes were scattered across a grassy plain. A warm wind rustled the high grass with a swishing sound. Zebras, said Annie. In the distance, 2 zebras were grazing. And wildebeests! Yep, we're definitely in Africa, said Jack. The sight of the horned wildebeests and black and white striped zebras took his breath away. Then he glanced around for lions. Look, said Annie. Jack jumped. Lions, he said. No, said Annie. Tourists. She pointed to a bus bumping along a dirt road that wound through the grassland. Painted letters on the side of the bus said, Safari Ride. Passengers sat in several rows of seats in the open-air bus. Cool, said Jack. He was relieved. If tourists were safe here, he and Annie must be safe too. The bus came to a halt. Stopping for photos, the driver called. Some of the tourists jumped out to photograph the zebras and wildebeests. We're definitely still in our time, said Annie. They're all using cell phones to take pictures. Right, said Jack. Come on, let's join them, said Annie. The safari ride? Said Jack. Yes, said Annie. I've always wanted to go on a safari and see the animals. Don't be silly, said Jack. We can't just appear out of nowhere and hop on the bus. They'll wonder where we came from. Let's stick to our mission. He looked at the rhyme again. He repeated the second and third verses. Use magic just once, save life old and new. To chase away danger, here's what to do. Find a paper tree with roots at the top. Point to the giant, say, please make them stop. Okay, the good news is we can use magic in case of danger, said Annie. But how do we use it? Said Jack. Well, it says we have to find a paper tree with roots at the top, said Annie. Then we point to a giant and... Stop, we still don't know what a paper tree is, said Jack. What does it have to do with a giant? And who are them? What do we want them to stop doing? I don't know, said Annie, heaving a sigh. Nothing makes sense, said Jack. Don't worry, said Annie. Let's just join the safari ride and have some fun, and we can ask the other people about paper trees. Seriously, we can't join them, said Jack. The driver will wonder why we're here all alone in the middle of nowhere. It'll turn into a big deal, and then we'll be in trouble. I'll think of something to say, said Annie. Back on board, the driver called to his passengers. Hurry, the bus is about to leave, said Annie. She scrambled down the rope ladder. I just told you we can't join them, called Jack. But Annie was already heading toward the bus. Oh, brother. Jack stuffed Morgan's note into his back pocket and hurried after Annie. As he stepped into the tall grass, the safari ride bus started moving. Wait! Hey, wait! Annie shouted. She started running after the bus. Annie, hold on! Jack called after her. Forget it! It's too far away! Annie stopped, gasping for breath. She and Jack watched the safari bus bump down the dirt road. Soon it disappeared behind a thicket of trees and bushes. Annie, I told you, we have to stick to our mission, said Jack. Annie looked down. I'm sorry I got carried away, she said. We have to make a plan, said Jack. Something we both agree on. Okay, said Annie. Jack sighed and pushed his glasses into place. He looked around. So, what now? He said. The zebras and wildebeest still grazed in the distance. Loud chirping and clicking sounds came from the grass. Dragonflies darted among purple wildflowers. Croaking sounds came from a muddy creek. A swarm of mosquitoes danced in the air. Hey, what's that? Said Annie. What's what? Said Jack. That! Annie walked over to some weeds. She bent down and picked up a booklet. South African Game Reserve, she read, aloud from the cover. Someone on the safari ride must have dropped this. Let me see, said Jack. Annie handed him the booklet. Jack read the front page. A number of African game reserves, like this one, protect some of the largest animals on Earth, such as elephants, giraffes, and black rhinos. Oh, wow! We landed in a game reserve, said Annie. They protect animals here. That's so great. Yes, it is, said Jack. He kept reading. Reserve rangers guard the grasslands and take visitors on safari rides. Sometimes the rangers risk their lives to protect animals from deadly danger. Deadly danger? Repeated Jack. Like what? Lions? Maybe, said Annie. Keep going. Before Jack could read more, the rumble of an engine came from behind them. He and Annie quickly turned around. An old Jeep was bouncing up the dirt road. The vehicle stopped near Jack and Annie. A young man and woman jumped out. They wore tan uniforms with name badges. Hey, kids, the man shouted. What are you doing out here all by yourselves?